Thanks for making KXLH a part of your day. I'm Tim McGonigal. We'll have more on the soon-to-expire Land and Water Conservation Fund in just a bit, but we begin in the courtroom. One of the suspects involved in last year's robbery at the Helena Hastings store is sentenced to 5 years to the Montana State Prison. Greg Knows His Gun, along with 2 other suspects, were charged in connection with the October 20th, 2014 robbery. When Knows His Gun and Shadrack Chippewa allegedly robbed the store and fled, a witness followed their getaway vehicle on North Montana. Prosecutors say when Chippewa asked Knows His Gun if he should shoot at the witness, Chippewa allegedly said yes. Several shots were fired, striking the pursuing vehicle. Following a 1-hour search, both suspects were arrested. Earlier this year, Knows His Gun pled guilty to felony solicitation to assault with a weapon. In a plea agreement, prosecutors recommended a 10-year prison sentence with 5 suspended. District Judge Mike Menahan accepted the agreement. Meantime, Chippewa is scheduled for trial next month. Attorneys are making final preparations to argue the appeal of a Kalispell woman convicted of murdering her newlywed husband by pushing him over a cliff in Glacier National Park. Federal prosecutors initially charged Jordan Lynn Graham with first-degree murder for pushing husband Cody Johnson over a cliff at the Loop off of Going to the Sun Road in July 2013. During her trial the following winter, Graham accepted a prosecution plea agreement for second-degree murder, but tried unsuccessfully to withdraw the plea after prosecutors argued for a maximum sentence, saying there was premeditation. Defense attorney Michael Donahoe has accused prosecutors of changing their depiction of what happened when Graham and Johnson argued on the cliff. The case was filed with the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Now the court has scheduled oral arguments for November 3rd in Portland. It's expected to be several months after those arguments before the justices make a ruling in Graham's case. A 3-vehicle crash shuts down morning traffic on Canyon Ferry Road. That crash took place at about 7:20 this morning when a westbound red Suburban rear-ended a flatbed pickup truck that had stopped to turn left at Canyon Ferry to Bompart Lane. The crash sent the pickup head-on into a third pickup that was eastbound on Canyon Ferry. The Suburban ended up on the barrel pit on the south side of the roadway. The 2 pickup trucks stopped on the north side of the road. Traffic on the road was stopped for about an hour as emergency crews worked the scene. 3 people in the Suburban and 1 person in the flatbed truck were treated at St. Peter's Hospital for lacerations. MHP Trooper Amanda Vila says everyone was wearing seatbelts. The trooper says the driver of the Suburban was issued a citation. She declined to say what the citation was for. Well, some new video today from Showdown, Montana of snow. Yes, snow coming down. This video was recorded this morning as snow levels fell to near 6,000 feet, covering the Little Belt in wet snow. That snow has since melted, but more could be on the way. So let's get over to Storm Tracker meteorologist Mike Rollins in the Weather Center. Mike, that video getting a lot of attention on our Facebook page today.
Absolutely. A lot of folks really excited about the snow coming down across central Montana, at least in the mountains. Of course, no snow here in Helena. We take you outside right now where the pavement's starting to dry out after the rain coming down earlier. 50 degrees. It's been a cool afternoon. And with the dew point being so high, 41, I'm going to be watching for some areas of dense fog overnight tonight. The rain is clearing out. You can see that over the last hour or so, and we're dry to the west. So I'm not expecting rain for the remainder of this evening, but there are more showers on the way. The focus tonight will be on the temperatures. They'll be getting down into the 40s and 30s by morning. It is going to be quite cool to kick off your Thursday. And as we go into the afternoon tomorrow, just a little bit warmer with more rain on the way. I'll time that rain out for you in Storm Tracker weather.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mike. Well, the Land and Water Conservation Fund has helped provide access to public lands and waterways for half a century. But if Congress doesn't act by the end of the month, those funds could dry up. NTN's Sanjay Talwani reports.
Fishing access, parcels of land, open space, and wildlife habitat. These have been some of the benefits brought by the Land and Water Conservation Fund. Money from oil and gas drilling to help people hunt, fish, hike, and boat, and more.
In a bigger sense, we all see Montana changing. LWCF is the best tool to address some of that change, to maintain the values that we all see in Montana and that we want to remain. Those conservation values, the outdoor recreation values, wildlife habitat and open space for wildlife to persist and have room to roam.
Because some of these areas are not going to be around for our next generation if we don't address the ability to be able to have access to them today.
It's helped pay for the recent tenderfoot purchase in the Smith River drainage, but it's not just for rural areas.
Often what you see at the local level throughout a state is that it's a lot of parks and pools and playgrounds and things like that.
The fund's been at about $400 million a year, with Montana getting the most per person of any state. Although the law allows up to $900 million in the fund, and there is one planned for doing that.
And for states like Montana, who receive more on a per capita basis than any other, that would be huge.
Senators John Tester and Steve Daines are both looking at a few different ways to keep it alive.
And so it's really critically important over the next couple of weeks that we work together in a bipartisan way.
In Helena, Sanjay Talwani, MTN News.
Well, flu season is off to a very early start in Lewis and Clark County. According to the county health departments, a case was confirmed last week when a patient over the age of 65 tested positive for influenza A. Health department officials say the first cases of the flu usually hit in October or November. Last year, 75 people in the county were hospitalized due to either influenza A or influenza B. And according to the Centers for Disease Control, between 5 to 20% of the population get the flu each year. Local health officials say now is the time to get your flu shot.
Flu shot now is recommended for anybody 6 months and up. If you don't like shots, if you're between 2 years old and 49 and you don't have pre-existing health conditions, you can get the nasal flu, which is really a very easy just sniff. It's just 2 puffs up your nose and you're done.
And here are a few other tips on how you can beat the flu. Wash your hands with soap and water. Avoid close contact with sick people. Cover your mouth and nose when you cough or sneeze. Flu shot clinics are scheduled to begin at the health department next Wednesday. If you have questions, you can call the Lewis and Clark County Health Department, and that number is 457-8904. And if you'd like more information, you can log on to our website, KXLH.com. Ceremonial drums marked the opening of a new facility at St. Peter's Hospital this morning, a place to help the spiritual needs of the community. The hospital's new cultural room was dedicated with a First Peoples smudging ceremony where a sacred plant such as sweetgrass is burned, the smoke rising as a visual symbol of prayer. The cultural room was designed as a secure and private place for ceremonies such as this.
But the cultural room also serves as a gathering place so that patient and their family could sit down together and have a conversation. We're more than gracious for it to be for the whole community because we are part of that whole community.
And the cultural room is located on the second floor of the hospital.